Welcome to this week's edition of Ask WWN, episode number 4. This is Michael Burgess. I am your host of this podcast, and I am also the owner of WorldWrestlingNews.com and head editor over there. And if you haven't listened to this podcast before, this podcast is just a podcast to really get to answer a lot of the questions that a lot of our viewers have. Our hundreds and hundreds to thousands of viewers have many questions, and we are able to answer some of them right here in this podcast. And our first question is, when Cody Rhodes returns, do you think he will get a world title push? Well, we've heard this summer that WWE has planned to push both Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow. And as you know, they put Damien Sandow over the Money in the Bank ladder match, and they've had him capture the briefcase, but have that stopped on him since? Well, Cody Rhodes seems to be getting his push, sort of, but now take approved time off for his wedding and honeymoon. There is no way, really, there's no way I can confirm that he would get a push. It's all really just a rumor or a prediction that you could really have. I do think that it would be cool to see him get a push. I think that if Sandow cashes in like at Night of Champions, and we see Cody Rhodes return, and then layeth the smackdown, so to say, on Damien Sandow, and now that would be cool to see. Yeah, I could see that, definitely. Our next question is, do you see Fox Sports 1 adding pro wrestling program? Well, to answer this question, no. I have not heard of there being interest in pro wrestling program for Fox Sports 1. The pro wrestling connection, though, that I draw when I think of Fox Sports 1 is that WWE wanted to do what Fox Sports did with the former Speed Network and with the WWE Network. At one point, WWE tried to purchase the former G4 network and revamp it as their own. And the thinking here was to take a network that had already had wide clearance and revamp it. And really, that's how Fox Sports is obviously hoping to compete with ESPN. Our next question, what would be your thoughts if someone like Mark Cuban or Donald Trump were to invest in TNA? Well, I heard at one point that Jeff Jarrett was interested in bringing on Royal Capital Corporation as an investor in TNA Wrestling. Nothing ever materialized, but right now. TNA doesn't have a problem with their financial backer, and the Carter family has plenty of money, and really the only question is how long will they remain committed to the TNA product. A good piece of news, though, is Viacom. They are high up on TNA brand and would entertain the thought of doing what they did with Bella later, and with what they should do with Panda Energy back out. Now, keep in mind, though, that these are just some whispers that we've heard, and it may be a different situation if Viacom had to put their money where their mouth is. However, TNA does have a good relationship with their network, Spike TV, and that's important to a company, really, in the long-term standpoint. And our last question is CM Punk no longer considered a main event talent, considering another pay-per-view loss last month? Well, all I have to say is no. We don't want CM Punk to lose, but, CM Punk is obviously a still main event talent. Obviously, that is really all you can say. But thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of #AskWWN. Remember to send your questions to @WWNLive. And thank you for tuning in to Ask WWN.